What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode 65 of C4SVillains. I am your host JB and I am here with my boy Legendy Vash, and we are here to talk about Miss Marvel episode 1. Now, Vash, I am very excited to talk about this episode with you. This was one of my most anticipated Marvel series of the entire year. I know I'm kind of jumping ahead into our anticipation portion of Miss Marvel, and I'm just so excited. But Vash, thank you so much for joining me.
Always here to be here with you, joining every single week because I have a stable job now, so I could join all the time as I please. So it's great to be here and to talk about this Miss Marvel. Like you said, I was not high in my least or high expectation, but things have turned around from this episode, so I can't wait for us to dive in and talk about it. I haven't read the comics, but we will get into it. But I'm glad to be here, the dynamic duo of the C4S channel. So I can't wait for us to discuss and just dive in and be nerds. Go to the Avengers Con.
Dude, when I saw that, I wish I could go to Avengers Con.
Same!
That's what I love about Kamala Khan. Like, she's one of us, but we'll get into it. Before we get into the episode itself, I just want to know, like, what is your history with Miss Marvel? What are your thoughts on Miss Marvel as a character, as a superhero, anything before the show that you've seen, that you've read, like animated series, anything like that?
So I know of her character from the cartoons of the Spider-Man cartoons and everything that was on Disney XD, or it was on Jetix. I just confused the names because it's just so messed up in my timeline of my life. But comics wise, sad to say, I've never read a comic of hers or of her own solo runs and everything like that. But I've known her character since it was released, I believe 2012 or 2013 or 2011. Because I know I've been checking interviews throughout the past week and everything, so I know it's around that time. But sadly, I've never read, but I would like to, because knowing a bit of her background, knowing a bit of her character, I would like to know more of her powers and everything. Since I'm not mad about it, but I know a lot of people are. MCU change her powers for certain reasons, for people not understanding production wise, and knowing cost wise and time wise. But at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do. It works for me for the first episode. Who knows how we're gonna see for the next couple of weeks, how it's gonna go and how it's gonna look for her as a character on screen.
Yeah, I agree completely. Kind of want to talk about that real quick. Like, do you care that they changed her powers from the comics? I personally don't see what the big deal is, especially when we know that the MCU has made so many changes over the past, 12 years at this point? Like, they've made so many changes. The 10 rings, it's nothing like what it is in the comics.
Nothing.
The 10 rings is completely different for the MCU. So for them to make this this bracelet, like this relic that was passed down throughout her family, and we know her grandmother used it at some point in her life, I think it makes it more personal. I think it makes it interesting. And as long as they capture the essence of Kamala Khan, who cares?
And plus, at the end, what James just brought up, the Shang-Chi of the 10 rings, you made it work in a martial arts style using the 10 rings. And it works in the Asian culture a lot more. So for when we saw our boy Sam Liu fight in the bus, and all we saw on screen was him using his fist. And then we find his father, him using his fist, was always on camera, on par with his father. So it made a lot of sense for that change for the 10 rings. Was I mad when I first saw it? Maybe like 5%, but guess what? Because I grew up with Iron Man. I grew up with the 10 rings. I grew up with the Mandalorian. I say Mandalorian, the Mandarin. So I grew up with these characters. So, but guess what? 5 seconds later, oh, it works. Looks cool. So as long as it works and the audience accepts it and it makes sense in the film, like cool. Will we get each ring having a different ability? Possibly. We won't know until we see in the future. But transitioning to Kamala Khan, we saw her stretch her arm in a type of cosmic way to save her classmate. It worked. Was it bother me? A lot of people said that her character looks like a bit like Green Lantern now because her powers are coming on from an object. Guess what? This is a bit personal because it literally comes from her grandmother, and it was so ambiguous that her mother kind of knew what it was, that she tried to hide it and not really explain it. But it was point of the story. It was point of her character, of her mom and her grandmother and her daughter herself having this type of being off to space, being all weird and everything. So it made sense. The MCU, Kevin Feige made it sense for the first episode and for the bracelet to have a connection to the grandmother and maybe to their heritage. So at the end, I don't give a fuck. It ain't happen. All these things. This is called the MCU for the actress. I love her because she literally said that this is Earth 199999 in her interview. She's like, I don't believe what Kevin Feige says. Now 646 like, man, technically he's your boss, so technically you should really believe him. So I just love that. It was cute.
Yeah, I love watching her in interviews. She's such a fucking nerd, dude. Like, she actually has, like,
Yes.
a copybook with just, like, lore and a bunch of different shit that she's written out. She's just like us, and she's just like Kamala Khan, her character. I thought that she perfectly embodied the character, and we'll get there. I first got introduced to Miss Marvel in 2014 with her first solo run. I
Nice.
didn't read any of the stuff when she was in the Captain Marvel comic, but then I saw Miss Marvel, and I was just curious because I know that Carol Danvers used to be called Miss Marvel, and then I'm like, well, who's this new hero taking over the mantle of Miss Marvel? And then I ended up loving her because, again, she's just like us. She's just a super nerd that loves heroes, loves the Avengers, and then actually gets the ability to become one. So I instantly fell in love with Kamala Khan, and again, Iman Vellani does an incredible job bringing her to life. So Vash, what was your excitement level going into Miss Marvel?
My excitement level of coming to Miss Marvel was more curiosity. James, you know me. We've known each other for years. I'm a very curious person with content, with friends, everything overall. So when it came to the show, I don't remember where I had it in my top ranking when we started in the beginning of the year. I'm not even sure if we had it in the list. I don't recall. But for Ms. Marvel, when I started the episode, I just knew it was going to be the story of a coming age. Like that was a theme, that was the pitch because of Spider-Man and everything else. I did not expect I was gonna love the first episode this much. I told James, I believe last night in the podcast or the day before, I just told him like, yo, I think this might be my favorite episode of the whole phase 4. Like just the camera work, the direction, the set design, the whole type of background when they spoke about Miss Marvel interpretation of zombie version, Cape version, Doctor Strange version, all these things, the whole background, the whole camera shots, the one shot to panel of them just backing around, the one shot of him going to his crib upstairs the deli, like all these things I just love as a person who loves film, who loves content, but also works in production. It just made me love this episode more. Maybe am I biased? Possibly. But it just shows that they put a lot of love and passion in this series. From what I can tell from the first episode, don't know the rest. But lastly, my expectation coming in was low. Coming out, I love it. So I feel like it worked. Hopefully, many other people felt the same. But like we know, the internet, it don't be like that.
I hear you. The Rotten Tomatoes scores are pretty high. I know the critic rating is like 95, and then like the audience rating is like 88 or some shit like that. So people are liking it. I love this first episode, and let's just get into the production like you were talking about. I love what you were talking about with the one shot with her and Bruno on the bike, and then they're talking about, like you were saying, zombie Captain Marvel. I'll bring it up here. in
Oh
the
yeah, that's
images.
great.
Zombie Captain Marvel, Cinderella Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange Captain Marvel. It's just cool to see, like, because again, she's just a nerd just like us. Like, she's 16 years old. She looks up to Captain Marvel, and she's this huge hero, just talking to her friend, nerding out like we are right now on this YouTube channel, just absolutely nerding out about this show. So it's just like, it's so cool that this show is about fandom and watching Kamala Khan like coming into herself. Like, I love coming of age stories when they're done really, really well, and this was a great start to the whole thing. So let's get deeper into the production. Like, what would you say is like one of your favorite shots from the episode?
My first shot is because we have seen throughout the years, with the digital world of social media, we have seen on screen of the text bubbles, or, or without the bubbles, we just see text go on screen. I did not do my research of what a lot of movies have done it, but I know there's a few that off the top of my head I cannot click. But James, if you have them, let me know. But Kamala Khan, sorry, Miss Marvel, the show, I felt like they did it in a such interesting and beautiful way that it did not feel forced. It was a transitioning where the taxi cab drove by, right there was emoji. He walked the bike, right there was signs that lit up, lit down. We have new text bubbles, new text messages, and then he walked up the stairs. The lights went down, new text bubbles, and then he went up, and then right there the lights about the deli, right there more stuff. So it just showed the beautiful inspiration of what they were inspiring and just to do better, have their own twist in it, have their own flavor. And that for me was my first scene or shot throughout the whole episode, because also it was a one shot. And sad to say, a lot of people, a lot of directors don't do one shots, but for understandable reasons, because you have to do a lot of time preparation, locations, timing, and a guy who works there, it's very fucking hard, because you gotta coordinate with every type of production, sorry, with every type of department, get everything correctly. So for it and go this smoothly and look this well, it, it was just my favorite scene.
Yeah, my favorite shot, like we were just talking about it before, my favorite shot is the one take with Kamala and Bruno on the bikes, just riding around the buildings and getting the animation on the walls and everything. It was just so cool because we're inside of their heads as they're imagining these different like variants to Captain Marvel. I thought it was really artistic. It was really cool, and it just speaks to Kamala Khan as a character. I love the music. I thought the score was
Yes.
really good too, especially towards the end when she's using her powers. The VFX on the powers, I have to be honest, I have to get used to it a little bit. Like,
Yes, I
the
agree.
way that it looks, I don't really know how to explain it. It just doesn't look that interesting, is what I'll say. I just need
So
to see it more.
what reminds me, remember, I hate using this movie. Remember in Thor 2, when Thor was looking into the different time space of places, and in those portals, it was using the little cosmic type of circle around it. So that's what it kind of reminded me of those type of purple-ish color. So that's what reminded me of the design. But I do agree that I have to get used to the crystal aspect, because it looks very, cosmic. I guess like it felt like it was something like it was breaking the barrier. Like that's what it reminded me of. But I agree with that. With the production set design the of the house of the mom and the dad, and plus Kamala Khan, the way they speak, the details of how they speak, of the heritage, the background. It's just so on the nose, and I love it how they have done the research and they're playing true to the source material and true to the history of the people of the Palestinian. So it's just amazing. And by the way, big shout out to Hala guys, because it was just dope to hear that. I told James in the chat as well, because I told James when he was here, hey bro, let's walk from the Javits Center to Hala guys. It's like 20 minutes. It was really like a
Yeah,
good
it's like
40
20
minutes.
minutes.
It was like, yeah, 20 minutes, not that bad a walk. And we took 40 minutes during winter, cold night too. So it was just fun. But to see them talk about halal guys and say, they charge extra sauce, for the sauce and everything. I'm like, it's just so beautiful to hear that, the whole commentary. That's what I love about the show.
Yeah, so you mentioned the family, so let's get into the character breakdown a little bit. Let's start with the dad. What did you think about Kamala Khan's father? What did you think about him in the first episode?
I love Abu. Abu was amazing. I love the actor for what he did. Trying to do his best to support his daughter. Be big Hulk, tiny Hulk. Rah! It's like it was just so cute and adorable. It's just the dad did his job, but I just felt the dad was that plays to the part because one of my best friend, childhood friend, he's half Spanish and plus half Indian. So very similar culture and stuff like that. His dad is the Indian side, and I've seen very similar, um, very similar type of ethics with the way you speak, the way you manners them in the household, the way you speak with your wife and everything. So it's very true to how they spoke. When he said, "Oh, it like magic," even though it's technically just technology, but it was just something that he just felt so cool to see, and it worked. And then after that, a couple hours later, or I think the next day later, he was like, "Oh, work, Zuzu, let's do this," and it's just very true to nose because they're not always great with technology, and I've seen his dad be like that before, so it was on the nose, and I love it. And when he got hurt, the actor did such a great job because like you're not going no more, no more, you're not going. And it was just beautiful because you saw the pain in his eyes, you saw the pain in his body language, and I just love that.
Yeah, I agree completely. He did a brilliant job acting in that moment. Like you definitely felt the sadness and just disappointment. Like, oh, you're embarrassed to be around me. Like it has to suck to hear, right? But I mean, realistically, like what teenager wants to go anywhere with their parents? It's like it's almost like they've never been kids. You know what I mean? Like no one wants to hang out with their parents. Like you're great, you're awesome. Thank you for taking care of me, but I don't want to hang out with you in public. Like that's not
Yeah,
what I want to
like
do.
I understood her shoes because when she said, "Oh, I don't want to go with you guys, it's embarrassing." Me who grew up as a first generation here, and me in the future to have kids, I know I could go with my kids to to go to restaurant places, but if they're gonna go to a party, I'm gonna drop my kids off a block away. I'm gonna drive by, make sure they get in and everything, but I'm not gonna jump them at the doorstep and embarrass them. I know how that is. I know how that felt. So I understand her father perspective of how and why he felt the pain. Like, damn, my daughter don't want to hang out with her own father. Like, and she's embarrassed, gonna hurt me. I understand that, but also he's not part of the generation. He grew up that a lot of kids love to be with their parents. A lot of kids don't understand what it is to be bullied in high school with modern technology and what it is. A lot of things goes on in her school, and plus the daughter even said, "I have to figure out my life in 4 days," where we didn't see on the scene, but did she tell her parents that girl went to the guidance counselor and spoke of what's going on, and that she has to give a whole report of what I want to do with my future? We didn't see it on screen, but who knows what happened after, off screen. So for those things, like a lot of kids don't tell the parents everything. So I understand how she felt, but also I understand how the dad felt. Both sides make sense, and I understand their perspective.
Yeah, I love Yusuf. Like he's just the guy stuck in the middle of trying to be a great dad while also trying not to piss off his wife. You know, so he's just like stuck in the middle. Like, yeah, I mean, I'll go with you, but I also don't want to piss off your mother. Like when she's talking about when Kamala's mom is saying that she doesn't trust her. He's like, "No, we trust you, honey." And she's like, "No, I don't."
Perfect transition. Just talk about the mom.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for the mom, sir. Yes, I did feel bad for the father, but the mom, when she was just so serious, like, "Yeah, I don't trust you." I have seen that so many households that I've had friends that are from that background, and I've heard friends that can't sleep over or anything because they said that they don't trust them. And I'm like, wait, you're supposed to trust your kids, not the opposite way around. But it's just the way the mom said it, the way the actress said it so serious, like, "I don't trust you." And girl said it, I think 3 times. And like the more she said it, it just felt more painful just hearing it. Like, yeah, I just don't trust you. And the way she went around to do the shopping, the mom was just holding one bag and the daughter was holding like 20 bags, I believe. And then when the mom and daughter went to the store to try an outfit, and they're like, "Oh no, you look good. It's just a bit short and everything, but you're good." And then when her friend came, he's like, "Hey, Kamala, I think it's very short." And she agreed, like, "Yeah, I think I'm short too." I agree, like, "Mom, what the hell you just came off for? How do you agree with your friend when you said 2 minutes ago that was not short on me?" What?
Like I like the mom. I know where. Well, I think I know where her arc is going, and I can't wait to see it take that path. She saw her mom be really rebellious. I would love to get some kind of flashback, possibly, of getting to see Kamala's grandmother using the bracelet. I think that would be really really cool. But it's like she's doing the wrong thing by just like sheltering her daughter instead of like just giving her tools for life. Like I think that's the one mistake that parents do. They try to shield their kids from everything instead of giving them the tools that they need based off of their experiences. Because you're only going to make your kids more rebellious.
And it was just more funny is that once Kamala failed the drive test, which by the way, how the hell do you just do that full throttle reverse? And then your parents come and pick you up, said that, "Hey, it's your fault." I'm like, "No, technically it's your daughter's fault. She's under crash to his car." But and then the father's saying, "Did you expect her to look both ways and check the mirror? Was that good for you and your clipboard?" And then when they drove back home, I could relate to this. I think any culture family could relate to this. The mom was making the daughter feel guilty, like, "Your father has worked so much. This car has so much trauma, has been through so much. Like, we have work, and you cannot help your brother with his wedding errands. You cannot help me. I'm gonna just be struggling." I'm like, "Damn, mom!" Like her mom even made me feel guilty, and I'm not even the daughter. I was the one watching on screen. I'm like, "Shit, why did I feel like I was in trouble too?" Like, damn, mom, like you are literally doing the job of feeling guilty for the daughter. Like, you're doing it on the nose.
It's embarrassing, like you think you're just close enough to get to your license and then you just full reverse into the instructor's car. I was like, Kamala, the fuck, did you not even make sure it was in drive?
Like, it's just funny. How did he just full throttle reverse? Like, maybe slowly look left, then press drive. But no, girl went pew, reverse that bitch.
So, but before we get into Kamala, I want to talk about Aamir, the brother. I think he is very supportive, yet like you can tell that he got to do whatever he wanted, like the guys get to do in the family. Like the parents are always more protective of the daughter than they are of their sons. You know what I mean? And it really is unfair, right? Like they won't even let her go to Avengers Con, which with her friend, there's going to be security. There's a bunch of people there. Like nothing's gonna happen to her. Like if it was Aamir, it wouldn't have been a problem. And I thought it was really cool of him just to be like, you know what? I'll go talk to them for you. And he made it work. He convinced them to let her go. Now they still wanted it to be on their terms, but I think he was being a really good big brother by talking to them and letting them know, yo, this is really important. This is really cool. She wants to go, so let her go.
Hey, he got the job done. He never told her, "Hey, I'm gonna get some special conditions not happening." He literally just said, "I'm gonna make sure you go." He got the job done. He made the promise. He get it. But the most funniest thing is that like he literally came at the wrong time. I forgot what was the word he said. Hala or he came when the daughter when she said that you let my brother go, but you not let me go to party. I'm not doing cocaine. I'm not doing any of these things. But he's like, there's not a lot going on here. I see. So like it just felt so beautiful, the chemistry showing that he is the one that could do anything with them, with himself. Like he just has been the guy that could go out and do whatever he wants because he's been on screen for short minutes. But what I'm curious to see in the series that hopefully the brother could be part of her journey as a hero because that will show the closeness as a brother and sister relationship too.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Speaking of like the relationships in her hero journey, what do you think about Bruno? I think Bruno's pretty cool. We're definitely setting him up to be Miss Marvel's guy in the chair. He's obviously the tech guy. I think he's a really good friend. He's supportive. He sees how much she loves Captain Marvel, and he spent all of his time making those photon gloves for her, airbrushing the entire suit for her, and then he went in a really simple costume. He cared so much about his friend to put that much work into the costume. So how do you feel about Bruno?
I wish you seen the movie Encanto, but I know you heard the song probably 1,000 times.
A
We don't talk
billion
about Bruno.
times. A billion times.
So I was so happy when he said no, 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 Bruno. I was like just hoping to hear. I think I think the no, 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 no was the point of the song, but it was just like, oh, his name is actually Bruno. Like, oh, that just even makes it more funny because of the no, 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 Bruno. But I like his character. For a second, I thought he was gonna be Choi. Choi, I think is the Asian character in the comics, Choi, that who takes the Iron Spider suit.
Hmm.
So I thought he was gonna be the one that the MCU version because he looks very smart. He was gonna apply to some type of program called the Young Gifted Kids or the Young Gifted Talent Kids program, I believe is what I saw. And so he looks very smart for him to do some type of photon gloves. Like that's very smart. Not a lot of kids could do that with their own crib and home with no lab. So that's something that's props to you, Bruno. Um, I love how the relationship looks like one-sided type of love because Bruno looks like he was gonna kiss her on the rooftop, but they come out kind of like, nah, that's a dub. Not sure what's the character in the comics, if she's straight, LGBT, I don't care. But if it is, that's the case. Hey, more power to them or to her if they become a couple or not. But if they're just a platonic type of relationship, they're just friends, I prefer because I would love to see them just a friendship that doesn't need to go into feelings or love. It's just a guy in the chair supports her friend as a hero, but you also have a great dynamic dual type of relationship.
I wouldn't mind it going either way. I would
Yeah.
love for it to be platonic and he's just the guy in the chair. Or if they wanted to make them a relationship, I'm fine with that too. I actually saw that scene a little bit differently than you did. It looked
Oh.
like she looks like she would have been kind of into it, but it's just like, it was just the awkwardness of the situation. Like, oh shit, we almost could have kissed just now, So
Oh.
it just looked like it was more awkward, but who knows? You know what I mean?
Hey, that's a beautiful thing that you could read between the lines, and it's also subjective on how you interpret it. So it could go
Yeah.
either way. We'll find out in the next couple of weeks of how it goes and how the relationship grows.
Yeah, so let's get into the star herself, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. I think Iman Vellani, like I said in the beginning, did an incredible job bringing Kamala Khan to life. She's definitely a nerd. She's very awkward. Like her mom said, head in the clouds, constantly living in a dream world, just thinking about superheroes and shit. And I think at some point in our lives, especially when we were teenagers, we can definitely relate to that. I love that she has a YouTube channel, Sloth Baby Productions. I thought this was fucking hilarious, dude. She only has like 2 subscribers, but she's making videos that are actually really really creative. When we
Yes.
got the intro, I love this. I love the animated like Avengers Endgame recreation recap that she does, and then apparently, she learned all of this information from Ant Man's podcast,
Yeah.
Big
It's
Me,
Scott
Little
Lang
Me.
podcast
I
interview.
thought that
Like
was really,
what?
really cool. So it's like
Like
Scott Lang did a podcast to tell the world what happened during the events of Endgame. Like, that's really cool.
no lie, to be honest, James, I'm not shocked that out of all the Avengers that are currently still alive, that Scott Lang is the one that actually chose this and speak. Like he's the one that loves to speak. And I wonder if he has his co-host, and if it has to be Luis. If it's not Luis, I would not accept nobody else to be his co-host.
Yes.
And please, Kevin Feige, if you make this podcast real and for like some type of MCU bonus content and just have a real Scott Lang version of him doing podcasts with Louise, I would that as listen to it if it's a weekly month, like a one-time thing, like a one-time thing a year. I will enjoy it. Like just like what if just give us a Scott Lang podcast. I would dead ass listen because she made that sound so fascinating. And the way I also enjoy the way, like you said, she's lost in the clouds. Every time that she actually did get lost, even when she went to the counselor, the first 30 seconds, girl get distracted. And then the counselor said, hey, we literally started this 30 seconds ago and you already got lost in the clouds. Like, come on, Kamala Khan. Like, come on, pay attention. We're talking. And I just love how he was so vibing, so joking. And he said, like, look, you don't need to call me Mr. Dixon, you know, for example, I forgot his name. And they said, I remember his name. Yeah. And they said, you could call me Cage. Wait, no, you know what? That don't work because my dad is actually Cage. So you know what? Just forget the reference. Look, let's just talk it out. Let's understand each other. Like, what can you do about your future? And then I love how he said it, like, when you go home, like, you know, right? It's like, wait, no. After school, not now, you know, don't go home. And I love how, because most kids would misunderstand and be like, oh, so go home now. I could leave early. So I just love how he pointed that out as a joke. Two, I just love how her character, it just was smiling throughout the whole episode. And whenever girl was home, she was kind of depressed. And it shows that type of school reality in most cultures, that when you leave home, you're excited because you are in your own free world. You don't have to be handcuffed to your house, to your rules of your parents, and you have to do every single little task once you come home. But that's why a lot of kids like to be out with their friends, you know, bike ride, do these type of things, you know, and do these type of events. So it was just very beautiful to see her type of school life. And it was very nice to see her so giddy with her friends. I wish we saw a bit more of her other friend, the girl that had the hijab. So I wish we had more of her, but I hope we get her more. Nakia. I hope we get her in the next 5 episodes more, because I would like to see more of her character, because I would like to see the whole relationship of her and her friend. How would they interact, knowing that they're both in a very similar culture?
Yeah, for sure. I'm wondering if Kamala is going to even tell Nakia about her powers. Like, will she tell her? How long will it take? I think that would be interesting to find out. I wonder if that could like form like some kind of rift in their friendship if she only told, you know, Bruno, because he was there. But it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But again, I think they did an incredible job with her character. Let's talk about Avengers Con. Like, I thought they did a really good job of like making it look like a real convention filled with Avengers memorabilia. I love that there was a corner just for like things that the Hulk has smashed. I thought that was really, really cool. There was actually like a monument of Natasha and Tony Stark. That was good because we haven't really gotten much love for Natasha and her sacrifice to save the universe, you know? So it was good to see that there was a tribute to her. I thought that was really cool. All of the cosplayers, I thought it was really cool watching all the different Captain Americas, all the different Captain Marvels, all the different Hulks, and it was really, really cool. As a fan, as a nerd, I wish I could be there. Anime NYC was one of the greatest experiences of my life, and I wish I could just have that experience at like a Comic-Con. Like, I just wanted to be there. I wanted to exist in that moment. Like, what was Avengers Con for you? Like, how did you experience it?
James, tell me your opinion. Do you think now, with the MCU being out for less than 15 years and almost 32 type of properties with movies and TV shows, do you think now they maybe the MCU can have their own con, just like Disney has their own con for all their content? Do you think the MCU can have their own con and just put the new trailers, have Robert Downey Jr., have panels and everything, like just have the MCU con? Because I would love to be there, because what I saw Avengers Con just have great moments of score being played, panels of characters, Nick Fury and everything. Just like we have Star Celebration, we kept the MCU Celebration, something like that, where we could see the next phase 4, phase 5, phase 6, because Kevin Feige likes to always be like, yeah, I'm playing out phase 6. Like, can we know a bit? Like, can we go to the con, have this exclusive type of feel of what this like phase 6, phase 5, Blade, all these things would be? So I feel like that'd be very beautiful to experience because I love to be part of it. Because just like James said, I've gone to New York Comic Con, I've gone to AutoCon, I've gone to Anime NYC, I've gone to a few cons, and they're all beautiful. The cosplays, like the whole vibe, the environments. But also, I'm not sure if it's a critique, but what I would like to see real real cosplays that have done cosplays of Iron Man and other characters within the MCU actually be in Avengers Con, like in a background to show some love to those cosplayers. But that's just me as a person who would have loved to give the nod to people and that have put their own work and flavor within that. So, but the con itself, seeing the big boy Ant-Man, big giant man Ant-Man, and the little small tiny bow, and then his whole head. That head knows how to roll, even though it's not a real bow, but somehow that head really knows how to roll so well that could literally cause all this damage. It's like, damn, that head literally did a whole domino effect. Right, James?
It did. Like it was rolling all over the fucking place. But I just wish I could go to Avengers Con. I'm definitely with you. I think there's definitely been enough material. I said 12 years. It's definitely been like 15. Yeah. But like there's just so much material that why not? You could have an MCU celebration. Fuck it. Call it Avengers Con. I think that would be really, really cool to actually bring that, like much like their Star Wars celebration. I think that would be amazing to have a weekend dedicated to a convention that's just all themed and based on the MCU. I think that would be really, really cool. Jumping back just a little bit, right before we get to Avengers Con, I love her plan to get out of the house. I thought it was really, really funny that she thought she was going to put on the suit. She was going to jump out of the window, do a superhero landing, get on the bikes, jump onto the bus, get into the bus, and then get into Avengers Con. Like she just has this like crazy like sense of reality. And it's just like, it's just fun. It's just light and fun. And I love it, you know? Because I mean, you want it to be an adventure. Because I mean, she doesn't get to go out that often. So her imagination, that head in the clouds moments, like that's where she's actually happy, where she gets to experience something outside of home. You know what I mean?
It's beautiful because you as an adult, you have less time to imagine because you're working, you have your own life bills, you have errands to run, so you have less of a chance to imagine. Yes, you have a chance to imagine when you're driving, when you have downtime, but our downtime as adults is very little. As kids, you have more time to imagine because you're literally the one thing you have to worry about is school. That's it, and chores at home. Well, more time of downtime, you have more of a time to imagine. And Kamala can't imagine it because the girl literally broke it down on the whiteboard. Yo, so right here's A, B, C, L, to Z. And literally Bruno all he said. So we're gonna jump on a bus. Girl, I felt her pain. Because what it felt like is when you send a long paragraph to a group chat or to your partner, and then all you get back, copy, okay. You be like, that's all you have to say. I said you all this, and you write back. I felt Kamala because she literally said, wait, that's all you give me as your feedback? I gave you a whole time, place, jumping this to the con and everything. That's what you give me feedback. So for her pain, but her imagination is flawless because she literally broke it down to the minute, to the travel, to the flip. And I'm like, for you to really think you can do a flip in the bike from the bridge to the bus, and then somehow the bus is gonna stop. I'm sorry, but
yo, the bus driver's an asshole, bro. Like, could you not just wait 5 seconds for me to get my bike, bro? Like, what?
Yo, that bus literally was like, yo, they hopped the bus and back. I'm gonna just close the thing. I'm like, yo, you literally could have opened it. Girl literally had space. She had space. That bus did not seem full. You just wanted to be a dick. Like, hell no. But I'm glad they did that because those are the MTA buses of the tri-state. Those are our buses. They are they. So because in her imagination route, girl did flip, the bus waited, went on, no problem. I'm like, the bus would not have stopped. The bus would have continued. Cool, you jump on a bike. He said, I swerve, I'm gonna leave you. That's why I'm happy that in the real world, the bike got left, not her. So I was like, look at that karma. That's what happens.
It's just ridiculous. I'm like, dude, 5 seconds. That's all she would need. 5 seconds, and you can be back on your schedule. Like it's not that serious. But anyways, jumping back to Avengers Con, like I love when she's about to get on stage. She's about to display the costume, and then she gets the bracelet and turns it on. I thought this was really cool. I thought the score here was really good.
Oh
I
yes.
thought the animation of her being literally clouded in this like cloak of cosmic energy, I thought that was really really cool. And then I also thought that it was really cool that we see her kind of slip into like an astral plane. And we're seeing all of these different people. It's like, are these all of the people that have used the bracelets for however many like centuries it's been out? What is the bracelet even made of? Could it still be like Kree tech that was just like sent out into the universe hundreds of years ago? And then like, because they can still use that to tie it into the Kree. I think that would be cool. But I see it as like an astral plane. But what did you interpret that as?
So three things, three comments. One comment is exactly what you brought up about the Kree. That was my one. Two, that the purple also reminded me a bit of Moon Knight, because from what we know, this show takes place after Moon Knight, and from we've seen, not spoiler, Moon Knight color in the astral plane of the gods in in Egypt lore, there some of the colors are purple in that. So when they did the astral plane of her with the camera shots. Third thing, I forgot to mention this in the production, but this is a great way to transition with it. That the camera shot of her falling and then falling back again, back to where she was back in reality, was fucking beautiful, because they did that about 3 or 4 times throughout the episode. Back when she was on the couch, back when she was on the bed, and I forgot the third time. But it's just the shots. Like this episode is so creative, just not in the cinematography, not just in the background designs and everything else, but also the camera shots, the camera work of how they just bring the character with you, but also the camera is with the character. I just love that. Like we are the first perspective with her, but we also the third perspective with her. So I just love that we are following her journey of the coming of age. So like it's just beautiful production work.
Yeah, the production in this episode is absolutely ridiculous. So you can tell that this is just setting the stage for some really cool shit later on, because when she's actually using her powers, we're gonna get a lot more stuff like that with some really cool like camera work and like exactly what you were talking about with the camera movements. We're gonna see a lot of that stuff in future episodes. Now, we were talking about how the hard light looks, right? But besides how it looks, I think it was really cool that just by instinct she was able to reach out her hand to catch her classmate, even though this person is kind of mean to her in school, right? But she still did the right thing, which is what a hero would do, is by instinct just reach out and catch her. So I thought that was a really important moment for Kamala as a character and as a hero, that at first instinct she just jumped to catch someone that needed help. So that scene was really really important to me as well. And then it's crazy to think that all of these people at Avengers Con just saw her use her powers on camera. Like it's on live, it's on every social media app you can think of. It's everywhere. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Kamala navigates this after this first episode. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm shocked Bruno didn't have like some type of EMP or something in the backpack. He'd be like, "Oh, phones, camera, digital, social media, EMP," just blast everything. Like, hey, Bruno, come on, you gotta be smart with that. Gotta be quick on the hands. But it's just gonna be interesting how her character and the bully come in terms, because you literally just save her, and the bully also really loved her outfit and was impressed with her bracelet too. So I'm really curious to see how their relationship will grow
I
with the
don't
next
even
couple episodes.
think that she knows that it was Kamala.
No, no. Well, she doesn't know that's Kamala, but if Kamala still uses the same outfit, the bully might start to put two and two together. So I feel like by the end of the season, or by the end of the series, 'cause I'm not sure if they confirmed if there's a season or not, but by the end of the series, they will probably be friends or have some type of common relationship. Two, are we going to talk about the end credit scene or not yet?
We will after this.
Okay, cool. So my last comment about this is that her powers, the way that she was going by base instinct of the way that she first thought and quickly thought ahead, and also she was observing what was going on. Girl didn't just react because of impulse. So that's what I like, because we know kids, adults, kids and teenagers react a lot by the impulse that we have. But about Kamala Khan, with the bracelet and everything else, she was observing the big giant head of Ant-Man just going around doing a whole domino effect. Girl was observing, seeing all the constant damage she was doing, but also to see that once she saw, probably somebody get hurt, that's when she reacted. So I also love those type of little small moments I saw.
Yeah, there was something else about the production that I wanted to mention too, was their use of light and using lens flares as like a symbol of light bleeding through, and then by the end of the episode, like, she's able to harness that light. And I like the name that they give it, hard light. I think it's actually pretty cool. But
It is.
I like the symbolism behind that it was bleeding throughout the entire episode, and then by the end of it, she's able to focus it and use it to help someone. So I thought that was really cool use of the production there. So one last thing before we get into the end credit scene was the scene when
The
she
mom.
gets back home. Right,
Yeah.
she's pretty much 2 hours late than she wanted to be, and she
Nah,
gets in.
9:55 out.
She inadvertently uses the hard light to step up onto the roof. She gets inside and then has this conversation with her mom, and it's like I can see the heartbreak on her mom. Right, I get it. You feel betrayed. You don't understand, like, you give your daughter a good life. You don't understand why she doesn't want to, just follow your rules and just be a good girl. And it's like, how do you not understand, like, what happened to your sense of adventure? And I can't wait to find out, more about the mom character later on. But the scene pretty much ends where the mom tells her, like, are you going to be the good girl that I raise, or do you want to be this cosmic head in the clouds person? And I love this image of Kamala at the end where she's like, cosmic.
Cosmic.
Like, I
Love it.
absolutely love that scene. I love the score at the end there as well. But what did you think about that scene, Vash?
I love that scene because, again, for this scene, yes, you could relate if you're from this heritage, from this background, but also if you're not, you could relate from strict mothers, from strict parents, because strict parents always say, "Are you gonna be the son I raised?" Like, how about can I be the person I am? Why do I have to be the person you raised me? Yes, you raised me, but that's like 1/3 of me. Have you seen the person I'm at school? Have you seen the person I'm with my friends? There's different sides of me, and the actress Iman did such a beautiful job with her body language and her face expression, showing the disappointment that she got from her mom. And the actress that played her mom did the beautiful disappointment, as always, as any mom will show. Oh, you failed me. I'm like, how about you taking it for her as a mom because you want her in a certain way as you want, but she doesn't yet realize that, because like James said, that line, are you going to be the good daughter that raised you, or are you going to be a cosmic head in the cloud? And I love how a minute later, a couple of seconds later, Kamala Khan chose cosmic in the cloud, because she was about to give up. She was about to just be like, wait, I should just be who I am because of my mom. But then once you just notice the beautiful cosmic power that could be in the tip of your fingers, you literally have the possibilities of endless. So for her to see that, I just love that for her character, because she has more possibilities than you could imagine. And for her to see that the world is endless because you just have a cosmic power right now at this moment.
Yeah, it's like,
You're yeah.
it's awesome. It's just like, why would I choose this normal, boring life that you want for me when I have the ability to become a superhero and do whatever I want? Like, I want to save people. I want to be a hero like my idol Captain Marvel. Like, why can't you support me in that. Like it's like her mom wouldn't even like entertain her ideas. You know,
Yeah.
that's like one of my biggest issues with the mom. It's like I know moms in different cultures, they're very dismissive of certain things, but the least you could do is just listen to me. You know what I mean? She's so worried about the Captain Marvel costume being skimpy. I'm like, if you would just take five
You me here.
seconds to just look at her costume,
Ooh.
you would know that she's not trying to be in skimpy outfits. Like, she's just trying to go to a fan event dressed as her favorite superhero. Like, she won't even give her 5 seconds. Like, that's my biggest issue with the mom. Like, she's too overprotective.
James knows me so well because that was literally the point I was gonna bring up next, and James literally knocked out the part because to add to that, she kept saying the party, you're going to Avengers party or you're going to a party, and like no, there's a difference from party and con. Cons don't have beer and liquor depending on where it is. It depends on the venue. So cons are literally to celebrate a mutual interest that everyone has that is attending. That's literally the definition I'm looking at. And a party is just celebrating a someone's birthday, engagement, or something has a reasoning. But for con, you're celebrating an event or a love and interest that's mutual with many thousands of people or not. So her mom just kept saying party because she didn't want to think of nothing else or what she has seen or what she has heard from her friends. And a lot of cultures always rather listen to their friends from their stories instead of their own kids. And like James brought up, being told of what is the costume without actually seeing it, saying that, oh, skimpy, slutty, whatever. But her costume of her daughter is the least far away from being slutty or skimpy. It's literally a jacket that looks
It's
like
a
so loose on
jacket.
her, and her pants are literally tights, just it's just spray painted. That's all. It looks so much like her character of Kamala Khan, and it just went for her. But the mom was so on the nose. I mean, so foot down. Like, no, I don't care what it is. I'm not going to look at it, and I felt so bad.
Yeah, another thing that I wanted to bring up from that moment is her mom also says that I want you to focus on you. I want you to focus on your story. This is her story. This is who she is. How can you just completely ignore it and not even acknowledge who she is? She's showing you who she is.
But not the way her mom wants it to be. The mom wants to be the puppet master, like this is your story, but I'm the one guiding to where your story should go. And I just love how she kept saying it because I was gonna bring the up, James, of how the mom literally said, yeah, this is your story, but I'm the one that's gonna guide you there. Because when back when Kamala Khan was trying out the outfits, Kamala Khan said, "Oh, that's great that she's enjoying her life in Europe, going to places in Germany, and, finding her a new man, Rob." Her mom, her friend was like, "Bitch, stay quiet. We're here gossiping up what you shouldn't do as a woman and what you shouldn't do traveling. You should have gotten married." So, and then her friend said, "And Kamala's gonna have a problem because girl don't have a ring on her finger yet." I was like, "Girl, stay in your lane. Who are you?"
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous that you just want your kids to just follow in the same cycle that you did, even though you know that you weren't happy in a lot of those moments. I just don't know why you would. Again, she went through the trouble of saying like, I want you to just be you, focus on your story. Again, this is my story. This is who I am, and you don't even want to acknowledge it because you want me to be you. That's what you want, and that's not how it goes. So again, very interested to see the arc of Kamala's mother and to see where they're going to be at the end of this first season or at the end of the mini series, whatever they want to call it. So let's get into the end credit scene. Now, the first time that I watched it, I didn't even know there was an end credit scene until the second time. And then, we're at the police precinct. I can't remember the cop's name, but he was the one that interrogated Peter Parker in Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
So it was great to see him again. And they want to bring in Kamala after seeing her use her powers. So I thought that was interesting. That sets up another arc within the show where she's going to be investigated by the police, possibly Sword. So who knows? The potential is endless for that part. So what are your thoughts on that?
Monica Rambeau is gonna make a surprise appearance. That's my guess. Because
When do
she's
you
part
think
of
that's
Sword.
going to happen?
Episode 3 or 4. How many episodes are confirmed, by the way? I totally forgot.
I am not sure. Let me check IMDb because I have it
So
up right
while
here.
James checks, I'm gonna continue speaking. So my guess, my theory is Monica Rambeau is gonna make a surprise appearance. Um, and for the police, it makes sense for them to connect because it was literally live on television. Sorry, live on phone, many phones blasted on social media of her powers being at Avengers Con. And what's the best place that you showing your powers is literally in Avengers Con, the place that's literally made your heroes since 2008. And for her to be 16 in the show, and we're in the year 2024, I believe 2023. No, sorry, 2025. So
Yeah.
for you to be in that year, you were literally born after Aamir, but you were part of the Battle of New York. Like that was literally like you was probably 4 years old or 5. Like it just shows that you were literally part of this historical moment of New York, of the planet of Earth, with all these heroes and everything. So that's pretty interesting. A great age to live up in the hype. Second, I'm curious to see how is this going to be involved with the cops and everything. Like, how big of a storyline plot would this be of? Is she? Are they the reason or why she actually gets a superhero outfit with the one that we're gonna probably see by last episode? That I don't know, but yeah.
I think Bruno's gonna surprise her with it.
Well, when do you think we're gonna get it? And did you see how many episodes we have?
Yes, it's 6 episodes.
All right,
I don't know.
my
I think she might get the suit by end of 3,
3 or 4.
maybe 4. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll see, man. Because I think the suit looks great. I can't wait to see it.
Or maybe do you think we will get a surprise appearance by the actress of She-Hulk?
I don't think we're gonna get a cameo from any of them, really.
No, no,
Nah,
nobody.
probably not. I mean, maybe in the end credit scene, like we might get something from like Photon, from Maria.
Yeah.
I mean, from Monica. Sorry, but I don't know. Maybe not. Because I think it would be. I think the smart thing is just to focus on her, but then you can dedicate something like that to like an end credit scene for the final episode.
Okay. Copy.
But we'll see where it goes, man. Like I'm very excited for this 6 episodes. Can't wait to see where it goes. I hope they keep like 45-minute episodes. I think that's a good range for each of these episodes. Can't wait to see where it goes. Vash, let me get your final thoughts on Miss Marvel episode 1.
My final thoughts of Miss Marvel episode 1 is it literally blew it out the park for me. I had a lot of fun where the story went. Like I said, the camera shots, the editing, the whole type of cinematography, the visual effects, the characters that we got introduced. Not any of these characters felt like they were just thrown in. Each character had a purpose, each character had a reasoning. And girl needs to get better at dodgeball because like girl, your face is like a magnet. Like you literally just got hit in the nose and just got a whole nosebleed. Like, come on, you're asking to get bullied. I'm sorry, but come on. And I'm really excited for this. For Moon Knight, Loki, I already knew these characters. James, and our guest was always, you know, trying trying to theory craft. Like for those that have seen our WandaVision with Chris, it has to be Mephisto every single week. Was
You know
one of our
what?
theories.
That's how Kamala got her powers. Mephisto confirmed. See,
Yep,
there you got
right
it.
there, confirmed, right there. So to actually see a character that I don't have that much knowledge, like I knew a bit about Moon Knight, at least more than Kamala Khan. But for this, I'm actually excited to just enjoy the series, talk about the production, and not make any theory craft. Like that's actually what I'm more excited about, just to enjoy the character and see how they make the 6 episodes and how they can introduce us for this character and what they're gonna set up. Because supposedly the timeline and internet mixed likes to say that phase 4 has no clear direction, which in my head I'm like, what the fuck you're talking about? But you know what,
They're not
we don't
paying
know
attention.
shit. Yeah, like it seems like we don't know shit either, because it's like we don't do a show every single week and try to explain what phase 4 is about. But you know, it's not like people are not watching our content, which they should.
They're not paying attention, and they have to. What they're failing to realize is that phase 4 is literally the building blocks for something else. Just like Iron Man was the building blocks for the Infinity Saga, we have to start over technically from a low point. And it's not even a low point, but it's the
Phase
building
4 is
blocks
phase 1.
of all of these different characters. Yeah, it's phase 4 is also phase 1 of this new saga. So you have to build new characters, new parts of the universe, expanding what we already know. Like it's building blocks, like, but whatever. And Chief, I'm definitely with you. Like, I'm Caribbean, I understand coming from a completely different culture. It's
Same.
just, to me, it's like it's a leather jacket with shoulder pads. You know what I mean? Like, I can definitely see how, like, the pants, maybe her mom might have thought that it would have been a little bit too tight, but it's just like the top is just this loose leather jacket with shoulder pads. It's just kind of ridiculous. And my biggest point that I made earlier was just the fact that her mom didn't even give her 2 seconds to even look at the costume, to even judge it. She just assumed that she was going to wear some kind of skimpy costume, and that was it. She didn't even give Kamala the chance to even see the costume, to even know what it looks like in order to make a judgment. So that's where my biggest issue comes from. She didn't even look at it.
And plus to add, I'm gonna search up Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, and I do not remember her outfit actually being skimpy.
I mean, it's form fitting.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
form fitting, but it's not Black Widow fitting
Right.
of tight.
There's a
So I'm
huge
like,
difference between
that's
Captain
it.
Marvel's suit and Black Widow's suit. Now, if she wanted to go dressed like Black Widow,
Then I guess,
oh sure,
then I understand
I
your
get
mom.
it, dude. It's a leather jacket. But anyways, I could talk about that forever. But my final thoughts. I love this first episode. I love the camera work. I love the cinematography. I love the score, the set design, the direction by Adil and Bilal. They're doing an incredible job with this. I can't wait to see where the rest of it goes. I love everything about this. I'm a huge Kamala Khan fan, and I can't wait for the next 5 episodes, because I think we are going to be on for a really, really fun ride. And then I can't wait to see Kamala in the Marvels. That is going to be insane to watch her fighting side by
Next year.
side with Photon and Captain Marvel, her hero, her idol. So, man, I am just beyond excited. I'm a nerd just like her watching this. So, it's really cool. Can't wait to see where it goes. Vash, tell the people where they can find you online.
Where they can find me online is at Legendary Vash everywhere else. And I suggest anybody that likes the show, check out the interviews of Iman, because her giddiness of being part of the MCU, she literally got this role as her first role as an actress. She got this out of high school. She literally just got this role right outside of high school. That's such a beautiful thing, to actually say that this is your first job in the MCU. You're set for life. You're part of a Marvel Cinematic Universe. So that's something not a lot of people could say. In her story, she was destined to play Kamala Khan, because she's knocking out of the park, and I'm happy for this actress. She does fantastic. This episode was amazing, and it's just her, the way she speak about Robert Downey Jr., Kevin Feige, the way she speaks about her meeting her idols. She met Brie Larson and said that she's glad she met Brie Larson through FaceTime first and then in person, because she has met other people and has embarrassed herself. But it's because she's such a person who's a fan. And I find that so beautiful. Like, all I say, she can follow me tomorrow. Just go watch her interviews. That's all I'm saying. Go watch it, because it's adorable. It's just, I watch a good hour worth of content of just her interviews. That's all I'm gonna say. James,
Yeah,
that's
I
it. Take
mean,
us out.
like you said, she was born to play Captain Marvel. She is a fan just like us, playing a fan just like us. So I think it's poetic. It makes so much sense to know that this is her first role and to see how amazing she is in it. Like it's incredible. I love seeing people come up and, like you said, like coming into your first gig into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You're in the Disney bubble. I would love to see her in Star Wars. Put her in everything. I think she's amazing, and sign me up for more, man. I can't wait to see the rest of the season, like I said, and I can't wait to see her in the Marvels. But you guys can follow me all over social media at JB Exclusive. Check out the latest episode of the Recast Cast. That is on the You've Got to See This podcast feed, where Brad and Blake and we recast the cast of the Fantastic Four. And we made all of our choices based on people that we want to join the MCU. We talked about who we want to direct that movie as well. We also set up a post-credit scene for that Fantastic Four MCU movie. So definitely check that out. We had we had all different choices. Like the three of us have completely different Fantastic Four movies, and it's actually really cool, and I would watch either one of those. So definitely check out that episode. Come back tomorrow. Well, Vash and I will be live again with Chris Conkling. We're gonna have A back, we're gonna have Steve back, and we're gonna be talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi Part 4, because that episode was my favorite of the season so far. Was absolutely incredible. Great character moments, great action, watching Obi-Wan come into his own. So tomorrow is going to be a great show. But guys, thank all of you in chat for being here. I really appreciate you guys showing up for the show and talking with Vash and I about Miss Marvel. I had a fucking blast, and I can't wait. Last thing, for the next 3 weeks, including this one, we will have double episodes. We're going to be doing episode 2 and 3 of Miss Marvel for the next 2 Thursdays, and then Obi-Wan reviews on Fridays. And then when Obi-Wan is done, we'll switch Miss Marvel back to Friday. We wanted to do this live so that we can interact with you guys, because this is one of my favorite parts of the show, getting to talk with you guys about the things that we're watching, because we're fans wanting to talk to other fans. So I appreciate you guys being here, and yeah, see you guys on the next one.